Get ready to get in the game. Stretch, strengthen, live, and thrive. You can be a winning athlete in the game of life. It's the Peel Appeal with author and corrective exercise specialist Matt Peel.
Hey, this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. How are you today? What's happening out there in your big and bad world? I hope it's going super stellar for you. You're kicking ass. You're taking names or whatever you're doing. And the information I can give you today is going to help you kick even more ass and take even more names, whether it be in your career or in a sport you like to play, or how about just life in general, right? Because at the end of the day, we are our own athletes in our own games of life. That's right. You guessed it. That's why I wrote the book, The Athlete in the Game of Life. But what happens to athletes, whether they're amateur athletes or pro athletes or even you? Guess what? You get hurt. You strain a muscle. You twist an ankle. Maybe it's just taking a step off a curb. Look, even pro athletes do it. How many times do you hear Joe Smith there has a non-football related injury and will be out for 6 to 8 weeks? Well, what actually happened to Joe? Well, he slipped and tripped and fell in his kitchen making a cup of coffee, right? They're human. Shit happens. Right. Nothing serious, but hey, the pain still lingers and they can't perform. Just like with you, the pain lingers. You can't perform back at the gym or at work, wherever it may be, and it gets frustrating, right? How long are you going to have to lay off this twisted ankle or this ankle or your fingers that just are not working properly? So when is it safe to return to play? So we're going to talk about this kind of mix match a little bit from the sports performance side of actual athletes to return to play, meaning for you out there. When can you get back working out? When can you get back playing tennis? When can you get back to just how about walking without pain, right? So there are some steps that the body does and everyone has to go through. And I talked about them from a little different standpoint in a previous show. But today we're talking about specifically kind of this return to play and what to look for when you are returning to play. Again, whatever that means for you. The play part doesn't mean that you're a professional golfer or tennis player. But hey, maybe you like to play golf a couple times a week. So it does apply. So as you know, soft tissue injuries, strains, sprains, twists, things like that. That's a soft tissue injury to a muscle, not a broken bone, not necessarily something like a ligament or a tendon. But they take a while to heal. So again, if you look at the pros out there, they seem fit, they seem ready to go, and then they're doing their pregame warm-ups. You know, it's a game day decision. You've heard that term before. Probably use it right now. It's a game day decision. And what do they do on game day? Well, they're just jogging on the sidelines. Oh, damn. That hamstring, I feel it again. Looks like I won't be able to play today. So now the team's out your star left guard because his hamstring just isn't right. Right. Same thing for you. Go back to the gym. You're like, ooh, that hamstring just doesn't quite feel right. How much longer I have to be out here before I can get back and return to play? So let's read some information here from the sports performance coach text that I studied. And that's a great way also to help you out there in your life. So, you know, this is scientific basis, not just me making shit up as I go along. So, previous injury is the most significant influencer of re-injury, leading to a fourfold increase in this outcome. The data for you, which can vary, but basically saying you should feel that the injured body part has healed. Your baseline comparisons are within appropriate ranges, right? Are you still lifting the same amount? Can you take a step without pain the same way? And are your functional and, say, your sport-specific performance tasks, can they be completed without pain or limitation? So those are some things you got to figure out. If you have any of those, you have a significant chance of re-injury. So don't push it. That's the main thing. We always want to listen to our bodies, but sometimes we're dumb, and I'm just as dumb as anyone else in pushing ourselves, and we're not ready, and now we're on the shelf again for another 2 weeks of frustration. So maybe working with PT, maybe working with a personal trainer, right? So some of the things I have to look for is one, your psychological readiness to identify, are you still apprehensive about maybe using your injured ankle, stepping on that, putting your weight on it? The fear of re-injury, the perceived stress that you have from outside sources, is it from your teammates or maybe your husband or your wife or your kids, right? Is that ankle still hurting you? Like, does it really hurt that bad? Can you just suck it up, rub some dirt on it, and get out there and cut the grass, right? All those things. What's the stress on it? How afraid are you of going out there and cutting the grass again and twisting that ankle? So those are things, and again, the previous injury that relate to, am I going to hurt myself again? Am I truly, truly ready to return to play, or am I really not? So you got to figure that out and got to be ready for it. So some steps here that the text talks about is kind of a START, STAART framework, describing on how we can assess the risk, get your risk tolerance and the assessment of it in line so that you can go out there and cut the grass again. You can lift weights. You can play tennis. You can play golf. You can go to work without, with your shoes on and not just have to wear a sock because maybe you feel some swelling. So we have to see how much stress can that injured area handle. That's the first step. Stress is loading stress, as in mean how much weight can you put on it, or how much can you lift with that side of your body without compensation to it. So some generally accepted return to play best practices, I'm going to summarize them here kind of for where you're at in your, say, executive or professional, business world. So we go, strength should be at or near your pre-injury level, or at least symmetrical with your non-injured side. So again, we'll take that ankle for an example. Does it feel like it did before, or is it at least in line with the strength of your non-injured side, of your good side? Because that's a big key factor there on, are you ready to return to play? Is your full range of motion pain-free at or near what you were beforehand, or compared to the good side? I mean, can you go 50%, 60%, 70%? If your good side was only at 70% and now your hurt side is back to 70%, well, then you're symmetrical. You're exactly where you need to be. You need to obviously work on some ways to get to 100%, but at least you're symmetrical and you can proceed at your normal training level. You should have no joint instability at all. You should be very stable, at least on flat surfaces at first, and then you work your way into unstable types of things like a Bosu ball, for an example, or standing on one foot. But do you have good stability on a flat surface? It should not be painful. That ankle should not still be painful when you touch it, or when you put some weight on it, or if you stand on it. If you have any pain again, you're not ready. I think that's kind of obvious, but sometimes we think, oh, we'll just go through the pain. And that's where we end up hurting ourselves again. And again, I'm just as guilty as everyone else, I promise you. Is there still swelling? Is there still inflammation? You should have no swelling, no inflammation on your injured side, that injured ankle again. Those are good signs that, okay, we're ready to begin load-bearing work, ready to get ourselves back going again, if you don't have any. So are the functional movements? Are you jumping? Are you, for using some other things, are we standing? Are we running? Are we pedaling the bike? Are we able to move laterally as well as linearly at or near your pre-injury level? Again, or at least same side as your healthy level, non-injured foot or ankle, I should say. Those are some of those things to be able to determine. And again, if your good ankle is not that good in the first place, if you're at least in that level, then maybe you're ready to return to play. Right? And then you should be able to, reproduce, say, repeated workouts or repeated tennis games or repeated maybe time to the driving range without additional pain, without additional swelling in that injured body part before you can say, okay, well, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get back into working out, into playing tennis and playing golf, pickleball, I should say, or whatever it is that you enjoy doing. So basically, the overall dynamic of sport activities, induces various loads, your speed, your volume, tension, change of direction on the body. And if these loads exceed your tissue's tolerance or your muscle's tolerance, then you're probably going to get hurt again and you're not ready to go. So, that final step is establish what's your risk. How comfortable do you feel? Do you feel like you're ready? If all these steps I just talked to you about, you're ready to accept the risk of, okay, let's go ahead and try it, then go ahead and try it. Work your way back up. I have a client, his name is Steve Mixon, and he just tore a little bit of his bicep. Doing this just the same amount of reps. It was a third set on a preacher curl machine, his 6th or 7th rep. He hadn't changed the weight for the other 2 sets. Freak thing, right? Just freak tear. So he was going through rehab, had a little bit of surgery, going through PT. But what we did is we still continued to work his strong side, his right arm, like normal. And you actually have transient benefits. So as your good side is working out, it'll still somehow get the benefits to the weak side, even though it goes through PT. Plus, we worked on his lower body as best as we can also. When he went through his rehab 12 weeks later, was cleared to play, returned to play, Steve now was stronger than before he got hurt. And a lot of that, especially that right side, because we just continued to work it. So he was still exercising. And then that left side has now caught up again. And he's back to bench pressing 275 on bench. He's a beast. But the point being, continue to work that strong side. You don't have to take off of working out at all or exercise. Work your strong side. Work your upper body if it's your lower body that's hurt. Work your lower body if the upper body is hurt. Whatever it is, just don't stop. Just don't use that injured side as much or if at all, but still use your strong side. So return to play is different for everyone, right? Your age, your conditioning level, pain tolerance, your motivation, all those things you got to consider where you are. Plus, each injury is different. Maybe it's a little bit more severe this time on your left side, maybe than it did to your right side, or it's just a different part of your ankle that you may be injured last time compared to now, whenever last time may be. So listen to your body, right? Use these cues that I talked about to help you make the best decision for wherever you are right now in your game of life. And that's really what life is all about. If you need some help and you're at work and you're sitting down a lot and some of these things are contributing to your injuries, maybe I can help you out, right? If you go to my website, mattpeal.com, and you click on that top part that says, I'm in pain, click on that. Or go to the menu drop down and go to the 10-minute professional series. My online programs, Stretch at Your Desk or Strengthen at Your Desk, are made so you can do these types of exercises, balance stability exercises, strengthening and stretching exercises right there in your work clothes, right there at your desk without any special equipment or any gym clothes. Do them. They work. I guarantee you. How do I know? Because my clients have done it. And they come back to me and say, Matt, your exercises are great. Johnny Peruka, big example, right? He sits at desk all day, helped him to drop about 30 pounds. Plus, on top of that, he's now more mobile. He's now more flexible because he does a program. These things work. So until next time, make sure you're ready fully to return to play before you try to push yourself in excess. When you are, then you know you are ready to be your best athlete in your game of life. This is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal Podcast. Until next time, I will see you later.
Are you ready to get in the game? Get personal help, sign up for our newsletter, and pick up your copy of Athlete in the Game of Life, the book, all at mattpeel.com. Thanks for